Good morning, and welcome to another fun episode of the Daddykirbs Farm live show. Welcome to the Daddykirbs Farm, a place where we believe everyone has a story and every story counts. I believe your story counts. So today, let's proclaim together like we have for the last few weeks. Sit up straight, take a deep breath, put your hand on your chest. Join me in saying, my story matters. I matter. I truly do believe that makes a difference in how you share who you are with other people. So believe in yourself, believe that you are valuable, and start sharing. That's what we're doing here on the Daddykirbs Farm. The original saying, I'll say this probably 1,000 times, and you guys will get used to it or bored with it. I'm not sure which. The original saying, every story counts, or everyone has a story and every story counts, came from inside me giving myself permission to share my own story, believing that I'm valuable. Some of you know that I have, over the years, been challenged with just self-confidence and not really knowing how to share myself, not believing everything I do is valuable, but I'm trying to get over that, and hanging out with you guys is one way that I do that. Proclaiming that every story counts is another way that I do that. So thank you for being with me this morning. And scrolling through, I was on the laptop a few minutes ago on Espen's laptop, and so I was in the chat there. I got to catch up the last few. Pine City Apiary jumping in with the questions right away. How are the bees? How is Luke? All right. Okay, so I do have things to talk about this morning. What I thought we could do on the last Saturday of the year, the last show of the year, is reflect on some of the things that has happened in 2018. Before I start that, let me change my page notes here. Before I start that, I want to say that my Patreon patrons through the year have supported me financially with their Patreon pledges, and it has been an amazing help to the channel, making sure things keep going. I have the tools and resources that I need to make this show happen. Patreon patrons are really the foundation of keeping this show alive. Now, that's the financial part. The family group is something that we started, I believe it started in 2018, and that has been a really fun place for us to hang out and get to know each other, and that is becoming a core place for us to get to know each other and to build each other up and encourage each other. Honey, do you mind turning that heater away from me? I had it on me, and now I'm hot. Okay. And Bandana Grandma says, I identify with your sentiment. The encouragement I get from viewers gives me the confidence I need to keep going. Love Daddykirbs. Thank you very much, Bandana Grandma. It is truly an encouragement to have that core group of followers. I say core group because there's a lot of people that want to weigh in not such a positive way, with their comments. We learn to deal with that. And sometimes we even learn to laugh at that. But those who truly do care and truly do encourage are a big, big help in making sure that just emotionally we are able to keep going as content creators. Good morning, Ronald. And Randy and Jesse. And Susie, I almost said this, Susie. All right, scrolling through. Tammy and Trish and a table full in the woods. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I am going to go through. I made some notes for 2018. We're going to go through. It's not going to be. Well, let's just do it. I went clear back this morning. I went up and I got on the computer and I scrolled through all the videos that I produced in 2018, and to get sort of a reflection of the year. So I'm going to share that with you with some commentary. Actually, before I get into that, I want to say that over the past month, being the holiday season, several people have sent to me via the post office box that Wheat Tree Bonsai often shares in the comments there, some gifts. And I want to say that for those of you who sent me some gifts, whether it be financial or actual, objects, I want to say thank you very much. One person sent to me several items, and in that was an empty journal book, because I guess at some point I had mentioned that I wanted to start journaling. This was after the loss of my father, and so this person took that to heart and said, you know what, I'm going to send you this journal book so that you can do that in something that's a little more, a little nicer than just the spiral bound book. I started journaling in this book, and it's just something that's not, it's not heirloom quality. You know, it's something that's going to deteriorate a lot faster than something like this. So thank you very much for all the many kind gifts and thoughts. It really means a lot to me. All right, now we're going to get into a rundown. We'll take breaks in the middle of this, but I just thought it would be interesting to go back to January, the very first video of the year. Sometimes I just go and I forget, the sequence of things. But the very first video of the year was me introducing Teo to Maggie. That's our two horses. And it was an interesting video. I learned a lot through that, and apparently I needed to learn a lot because there were a lot of things that I did wrong in that video, and the people in the comments, very many of you shared loving warnings to me, and other people were quite stern and maybe not nice, but that's okay, because what happened is that I got to learn from the experience, and then also from sharing the video and hearing from you guys. Yeah, the horses now, so it's been a whole year that they have been together, Teo and Maggie, and they are best of friends now. They don't want to be apart. They love having each other, and in fact, if we are leading one, the other follows. So we don't have to, if we're ever leading the two horses somewhere, we only have to lead one because the second will follow. It's pretty interesting. I'm not, I love horses, but I'm not really a horse person. I don't have a lot of experience with horses, except for over my lifetime, I've been around horses and I've ridden horses, but I never cared for horses. So it's been fun. Now, most of that is my daughter. She's the horse person of the family. She loves that, but it's primarily her thing, and we've given her space, built her a barn, and now the horses are very much a part of the Daddykirbs farm. And I see that we have our first squirrel of the morning. Fun for the New Year's bubbly. Thank you, Ronald, for being such a good friend and follower of and supporter of the Daddykirbs farm, starting the morning off with that $10 bubbly fund. That's kind of fun to say, bubbly fund. All right. Horses do sound fun. They really do. They are fun. They are a bit of work, but they're fun. Good morning, Liz. I see you pop in here. Okay, so then the second through January, it was interesting that was part of the year that YouTube was doing. Actually, it was more than just January, but that's when a lot of the news come out about YouTube demonetizing smaller channels. I got a dog going nuts over here. And so I have I have 3 channels, and 2 of the channels are still very small. And so they are still demonetized. I don't have a monetization option on those channels. So that is just something that happened a year ago, and now we're still dealing with that. A lot of new creators or creators who have been here for a while are still striving for that 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 watch hours over a 12-month period so that they can get to the point to where they can monetize. So that was kind of an interesting period. Horse barn progress was made. That was started before 2018, but through 2018 we've been chipping away at making the horse barn more of a horse barn and less of just a unfinished structure. It's almost there. It's almost there. And in January we started elderberry plants here on the farm. They didn't do well through the year, but we have them. Hopefully they will endure through the winter and they'll do better in 2019. I didn't get a lot of notes for February, so jumping to March, I want to say that the Root Assassin Company, they sent me a shovel and a rake, and we love the rake. We gave a rake away here on the channel. We have been using that rake in the horse barn and around the horse barn for the entire year. And I used it really, really rough one day and broke one tine. So it's missing one tine. But it has taken a lot of abuse. That will be a rake that we purchase again should we need another rake, because it definitely is better than the ones that we get at the feed store. So thank you, Root Assassin, for being a part of my story and sending me that so that I can share with the audience. And this has been sort of a tough year in the garden. It wasn't a good year for gardening on the Daddykirbs farm. We didn't get a lot. We did okay with tomatoes. But mostly the garden was more of a miss than a hit. Forgive me as I'm looking down and reading my notes. I did want to stick to sort of a schedule, not a schedule, but you know, a list. So in the garden, though, this year we did have, like I said, some successful tomatoes. Morning. Good morning. And also some successful squash. And we repotted the Meyer lemon. So that was, good morning. That was a fun video and a fun project. And hopefully that Meyer lemon, well, it'd be great if the Meyer video does well too, but hopefully that lemon tree does well and produces lots of lemons in 2019. Then again in March, still in March actually, the veterinarian that we use for our horses came out and allowed me to video the process of, I just got distracted by Ronald's comment. You got to meet me in person. I'm getting to that, Ronald. That was not in March. But yeah, that was a highlight. But the veterinarian came in and allowed us to do some video of her taking care of the horses. So we got a video of the floating the teeth, taking care of the dental work for the horses, which was very interesting. I thought it was. And so that was a fun opportunity there on the farm. We also visited the suburban garden. Our friends Todd and Candace, they have their garden in the front and backyard. And so we went over there several times through the year and got some of it on video. So you can check that out because they really have a beautiful space. And it's worth seeing. It's worth visiting too, but it's worth seeing. Now, don't everybody go there at once. In fact, they probably don't want anyone to show up. But in the video, it's worth seeing. All right. Jesse Lopez, thank you for the second squirrel of the day, if I haven't missed any. Thank you for inspiring me to be a better me. That means a lot to me, Jesse. Thank you very much. And to a great 2019. I'm looking forward to 2019. We have some things that hopefully are going to be pretty spectacular. I hope. But thank you for being a friend and supporter of the Daddykirbs farm, Jesse. It means a lot to me. And scrolling through. All right. So let's go to April. I didn't get a lot of video in a lot of months just because it's been kind of a rough year up and down. But in April, More beekeeping videos. I did have a video where I got stung. Not a big deal, but some people like to see me in pain. And the mulberry tree actually produced a lot this year. So we got some video of us producing mulberry, or actually harvesting mulberry, and then we used that to make jelly. And Sean Schiffer jumps in with a Save the Squirrel Fund. Thank you very much, Sean, for your squirrel that helps support this channel. It truly does mean a lot to me. You are an amazing friend and follower and supporter of the Daddykirbs Farm. Oh, that was in April? Okay. I had in April, I do have notes that Luke was hospitalized. That's kind of hard to say. And that was in April. That's the visit where he came home with his feeding tube. So that was a bit of a rough patch there for us. But it's been pretty good. I will say that Luke has done pretty well over this year with the feeding tube. You know, we've had a lot to learn being new to that, but he has gained a little weight, maintained. He's still not heavy by any means, but he did gain a little weight, and it's been good to see him get the nutrients that he needs to become the healthy person that we know he should be. And he also turned 21 this year. Yeah, my big boy. And in May, you know, I'm gonna miss a lot. I really just took some notes to try to help go through the year, and I'm sure I'm missing things. But in May, in the bee yard, I started using 2 new tools. One is the ventilated bee jacket, which I have really loved. Here in Texas, it's hot in the summer, and so going out to the bee yard in a traditional canvas-heavy bee jacket is just miserable. So that ventilated jacket has really done its job, and I'm really glad that I made that a part of my my tools for beekeeping, because it has made it much more pleasant. I also got the scythe, which I have used several times in the bee yard. Mostly successful, only one time, and I did get it on video. Did the bees, for whatever reason that day, they did not like me using the scythe in the bee yard, and it was kind of interesting. I got stung there too. But the scythe has been a fun tool to keep the weeds down around the beehives, and the ventilated bee jacket has been good to keep the breeze coming through the jacket so that I can stay, so I don't pass out from heat exhaustion in the bee yard. And thank you to my moderators for continuing to moderate the chat, to keep the chat going, and also to put the links in that I need. You guys, there's a lot of things that you can connect with, and I don't always remember to talk about them, so the moderators will just place those links in there so that you guys can connect with Patreon and the Facebook group and the affiliate links through Amazon, and you know, the different things that I participate with. So you guys keep looking at the chat and enjoy those links as they come up. Probably a lot of you have already seen them, but it's always a good reminder. Yeah, Ronald says I need to invent an AC-cooled beekeeping suit. I think that wouldn't be too tough because, you know, the people who do like Disney costumes or the big heavy costumes, a lot of those have a built-in air conditioner. So, you know, the technology has already been worked out. It just, you need to apply it to a beekeeping suit. That would be fun. And in July and August, it would be more than fun. It would be a huge relief. The Toasted Rabbit says, howdy from ATX, Austin, Texas. Glad to catch one of your live streams. I'm glad you're here. I see you often on Instagram. And Kilted Gardener's baby Bo is modding the show. Great. Teach them early. Teach them early. All right, looking down at my notes. Sorry for the view of the top of my head. Luckily, there's still some hair there. So in June, we did harvest some large squash from the garden. That was a nice surprise. In fact, you know, because of how things were going, we sort of neglected the garden. But when we went out there, we're pleasantly surprised to find that there was some squash to be harvested. We don't do well with squash here on the Daddykirbs farm because of the very evil little creature called the vine borer. It gets into the squash vine at the base and basically kills it from the inside out. So, but we did get some squash this year. And also, we have video of my daughter handling and relocating some black rat snakes, or Texas rat snakes rather. And so that's been an interesting thing in our chicken keeping adventures, because when there has to be a balance in nature, and the rats come in because of the rats. The snakes come in because of the rats and the mice. They want to eat those, and I am very grateful for that. But we also have cats. So the number of rat population has gone way down, which again, I'm grateful for that. But when the snakes come in, knowing that there should be rats around the chicken coops, and there's no rats, then they get their free meal on chicken eggs, and that is no good. We have had several large Texas rat snakes with a belly full, and you can just see them all down the body, you know, sometimes 5 and 6 eggs in there. So that's kind of a bummer. But, you know, that's life, that's nature. All right. The yellow pears did really well. That was the yellow pear tomatoes. They did really well this year. That was a good harvest. I had a video about that in June. And so with those tomatoes and others, you know, red varieties, we made some salsa. And every year for the last several years, we've made salsa. And this year we made quite a bit. And I made a yellow salsa. It's a yellow and jalapeno with mango. And it turned out pretty good. Now in July, this is an interesting one. See, all through the year, you know, as a YouTube creator, naturally I want my videos to do really well, of course, because why would you produce a video and then not want it to do well or hope for low numbers? You hope for high numbers because that's what's going to make your channel grow. And eventually, if you can monetize, that's what's going to pay you. You need lots of views, lots of watch time. Subscribers don't mean anything for paying, but it's nice to see that number go up. Just, you know, sort of a trophy number. But and we were talking about in the chat earlier before the show started about the numbers shouldn't change you, and that's true. However, as a creator, it's a source of information. So if you use it for information, you look there and you see, okay, what's performing well, what's not, then it's a very valuable tool. It's not valuable to focus on that and use it as your goal. It's not the goal. The goal is sharing your story. Scrolling through. Sorry, I try to keep up. If I wait too long to scroll through, then it's just, it goes on forever. And it's just going to keep going on. All right. So, so in July, the reason I was talking about numbers is that I had a video, rescuing the hawk from the rain tank, that it's almost at 900,000 views. I checked this morning. Yeah, awkward silence moment. You guys get used to it. It's okay. We're all friends here, right? We're all family. So that hawk rescue video was something that absolutely wasn't planned, because we didn't plan to have a hawk that needed rescued in our tank. But a lot of people in the comments just, they can't get over how slow I rescue the hawk, or maybe I put the hawk in there on purpose just to get a video. Worried about the momentary break there. Yes, Espen is sleeping in his room, but go ahead and yell at him. Maybe you'll wake him up by yelling his name. It is. I don't understand why, but just occasionally the app drops. I don't think it has anything to do with the internet. It's just the app. This is a reason why I want to change how I perform my live shows. I want to get it done on an actual computer. That way I can give you guys a better show, meaning that I can put pictures and video in as I'm talking about things. And so I was visiting over at on the moment. Whose show was I watching? Anyway, I was watching a live show, and it was just nice. Tommy Alderman, yes. Golly, my brain's a mess. So I was watching Tommy Alderman and his wife there doing their live show, and it's fun how they interact with the audience and place in pictures and videos so that you get a better experience. So I would like to do that. I just got to get set up on a computer instead of on my phone. The phone has been a very useful tool to make the show happen, but I think it's time to grow up a little bit and make a better show. All right, so what did I get distracted on when the show went down? Oh, the hawk video and the rain tank. There was so much conversation about, some people were very good about the hawk video. Thank you for rescuing the hawk. Some were just, you took too long. But the reason I took a long time, you guys probably know this because I've talked about it before. I wanted to make sure that the hawk and the people involved in this rescue were going to have a good experience. There's a chance, probably a low chance, but there's a chance that if I were to just reach in and grab that hawk, it could flap around, break a wing, slice me open with its talons. Lots of things could go wrong. And Freaky Geek and Food Forest Permaculture, thanks for being here with us. So it was interesting because everything that I did in that video was me. Maybe I just shouldn't talk about the hawk video. I think that's every time I start getting into that, the show stops. But we're back. I'll say just a little bit more about the hawk video, and that is what most people don't realize, because there's a lot of people that's just really concerned that poor hawk was freezing. First of all, the water that was in the tank was like bath water. It was warm, so he definitely wasn't freezing from the water. And when I got him out and put him in that cage, it was July in Texas. Okay, it can be 100 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. In fact, many times this year it was 100 degrees, clear past sunset. Excuse you. The hawk being cold was not an issue, and I'm not going to talk anymore about that. Let's go. All right, carrots in the Greenstock garden. Greenstock, the company, has been such an amazing source of encouragement for us, not only just because we're using a product that they sent to us, but the company themselves. It's a family-owned company, and they have been really kind to me. And so I want to promote Greenstock Gardens, not only because the Greenstock Garden is a really nice gardening tool for people who don't have the space or the ability to have a full, dirt garden. I say dirt garden. That doesn't make it sound nice, but something in the ground. If you are stuck to a patio or a deck or limited by physical limitations, disabilities, then a container garden is probably the way to go. And having a stackable container garden makes it even better because you don't have to bend over as much, and it takes up less space on the patio or deck. So Ronald said, it sounds like Mama Kirbs dropped the diamond out of her ring. So the Greenstock Gardens as a product are amazing, and I will continue to use them. And also as a company, I want to support them as a company because, first of all, I just love family-owned companies. And when they are good people, and I've had phone calls with them and email interactions with them, they're just really good. So if you are interested at all in the Greenstock Gardens, check in the chat for a link. Get your 10 up to $10 off using my link and coupon code, but do check them out because it is a good product. And I am talking about that because in July we harvested carrots from the Greenstock, and it was a beautiful harvest, and the carrots were delicious. And so I thought it was a good time to throw that in there. We also did a live show at the Butterfly Ladies Garden. Our very own Drake White. Is she here this morning? I haven't seen her. But anyway, Drake White is our butterfly lady. She's the local pollinator garden expert. I'm not sure. She is an expert in butterflies and other pollinators, and she knows how to create gardens for them, and she actually hatches and raises butterflies, and she does shows where she goes around and educates people about butterflies and pollinators. So it's really fun to have that relationship, and it was a really good time to share that time at the Nectar Bar, at her place where she has her Nectar Bar gardens, and it was just really, it was a good show. I will say that the live shows kept the channel afloat mostly through July because, again, it was a tough season. Like I said, this year's been up and down, a lot of downs, and so the live shows have been something that's been has helped me keep the show alive, and you guys have been here with me, and I so very much appreciate that. Thank you very much for being a part of my live shows. So August, September, again, kind of a low point. Our round galvanized tank that the hawk fell into that needed rescued from became a turtle enclosure. We did do some beekeeping and honey collecting videos in those months, and it's also the time of year when I lost my dad, and that was an extremely rough time. And I want to show you something. Have you guys ever seen one of these? This is called a memory bear. And the memory bear it's a mission. I don't know if it's like a bigger mission than one person, but there is a lady who my mom knows that she will take the clothing items from someone who is lost and turn them into a bear so that you have a memory. So this is actually created from a shirt that my dad wore. This was one of his shirts. So she took the shirt, created the bear, and so now I get to have this as a memory of my dad. Just, I remember him wearing this shirt, so now I get to have something to hug that is wearing his shirt. So, yeah, that was kind of that's a really fun, not fun, it's just nice. I mean, it's fun too, but it's nice that somebody will choose to do that as a mission. And so I don't know this person that made the bear, but my mom knows her. So, but if ever she would watch this, I would say thank you very much. This means a lot to me. That's my memory bear. Hey, the Texas boys showed up just about the time I was going to talk about them. Not yet. That's coming up. So now we're in October of 2018 in my list. And this was a month where my boys got busy and they took down that old barn. That was quite the project. I wished that I could have been a little bit more involved with tearing that thing down. But timing was that, I had to go to work and my boys were here and they needed something to do. And they were very happy to dig into that. One of my sons absolutely loves destruction. he tore that thing down with haste and did a great job. Both of my boys, actually all three of my boys were involved, and they did a great job. Did my girl help too? A little. Thank you. Yeah. So the barn came down and the place was cleaned up some. It's not completely cleaned up. I still have piles that I need to figure out what to do with the materials. Some of those materials will be used in creating a chicken coop for Mama Kirbs. We've talked about it over and over and over, and it's about time that I get that project done. I know that because she's told me. All right. And also in October, I share a video about being a creator on YouTube for 8 years. So there were some things that I had learned and some frustrations that I dealt with over the years. And so I shared that as a way for other channels to know and know what to expect, and to know that they're with building relationships and enduring through it all and using just persistence, that you can do this. You really can do this. And Kate is an example of a channel that just took the bull by the horns. She jumped in making her food preservation, budget meals, those type of videos, and she's doing really, really well. And I think in a matter of, how many weeks has it been, Kate? You've been doing this on your Inside Kate's Kitchen channel for, 15 weeks or so, maybe less? And you're at almost 500 subscribers, I believe. If you guys don't know Kate, check her out, Inside Kate's Kitchen, and support a channel that is growing, and just give her some encouragement as well. All right. Oh, in October, wow, that didn't come out right. Oh, and in October, I also was stung by an asp. That is a very cute little caterpillar that doesn't like to be touched. And now I know, because it was super duper painful, and I hope to never endure that again. But I have said that I believe that God allowed me to be stung first in my family. Hopefully no one ever gets stung, but I think God needed for me to be stung, because had any of my family members come in and said, a caterpillar stung me and it's painful, I probably wouldn't have believed that it was that bad. Sometimes I'm just insensitive like that. I just couldn't believe that little fuzzy caterpillar could have that much of an effect on a person, but they can. It hurts really bad, and I'm glad now that I know, so that if it ever happens to anyone else, I can have compassion instead of the attitude of "suck it up, Buttercup." That's what Mama Kirbs yelled in the background. It's true, because there are some times when, just as a man, pick yourself up, put some dirt on it, walk it off, that kind of thing. Suck it up. It's okay. But there are also times when you have to have some real compassion. Really, you should have compassion all the time, but we deal with things, right? All right. Oh, man. So Kate was stung as a kid many times in Corpus. So I guess they do like the warmer temperatures, so the further south you go, the more prevalent they are. It's miserable. So stay away from the little fuzzy caterpillars. So in November of 2018, I think we're doing pretty good here. We're 40 minutes in, and we're in November of 2018. We did try to take this show on the road, and I visited the New Braunfels farmers market, hanging out with Robert from Rising Kjell Farms there, and also producing my show from there. It didn't go real well. The Wi-Fi was spotty. Whenever I tried to walk away to show you guys more of the market, the Wi-Fi was not strong enough for me to do that. So it was kind of a broken show, but it was fun trying. And I would like to do more of that, but it will probably be not in the form of live shows. It will probably just be in videos because of the, depending on a good Wi-Fi signal to keep the show going can be kind of frustrating when it actually doesn't keep going. So we also did a green stock giveaway. We gave several green stocks away, actually. Hey, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy made it. Good to see you guys this morning. Stacy Turner is in the house. Good to see you as well. We did the green stock giveaway. We gave away, I think, 3 green stocks. One to my brother Carl in California as a science teacher. He's doing a butterfly garden of sorts, or a pollinator garden, and he wanted some vertical gardens in there, so he got one. Our very own Inside Kate's Kitchen got one. So, and then we gave one away to a viewer, so that was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that they now get to experience the pleasure of using a vertical system that is so beautifully designed. All right. November also brought, it's a good thing actually that Off Grid with Doug and Stacy and Texas Boys are now in the house, because another thing we did in November was the Good of the Land Fest up in Lindale, Texas. I almost forgot the name of the town. But they have that beautiful outdoor museum of older buildings, older machines, blacksmithing, things like that. So it was fun to hang out there with a number of YouTubers. That's where I finally got to meet the Texas Boys and Doug from Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. And it was just a fun experience being there in community with other creators and seeing some of that really fun older knowledge. Say older knowledge, the skills that came from a time when things were a little simpler, you know, not quite as much advanced technology. So the blacksmithing displays and the throwing of ceramics and seeing the old tractors, all of that was just a really good time. And it was a pleasure, a true pleasure, to be in the presence of other YouTubers to share experience from that as well. So Derek from Handyman Channel also got to hang out with him for quite a bit. I met a list of YouTubers, but probably mostly hung out with Doug and Derek and the Texas Boys. So, all right. So in November also, at the end of November, we hung out with my friend Robert at Rising Kale Farms because he's making kombucha and he had some questions. So I went over to hang out with him and to answer his questions about kombucha. So that was just kind of a fun video where it wasn't planned. We took the camera, we met up with him, he asked the questions, I did my best to answer them, and made a video out of it. So that was a good time. A lot of people have kombucha questions, and it's fun answering those. I like sharing that knowledge with other people. So in December, we processed a lot of pumpkins. A lot of pumpkins. We have so much pumpkin puree, and we still have pumpkins sitting out here. But we did produce a lot of pumpkin puree. The dogs love it for their dog food. It helps keep their gut in check and, you know, their digestion. But we also found that there are 2 or 3 of the special pumpkins, the pretty pumpkins, ones that people call Cinderella pumpkins, that have an amazing flavor. I showed that video about it was Are They All Orange Inside? That was the title, I believe. And in that, I show the inside color and texture and go through testing and tasting those pumpkins. And Mama Kerbs has made some wonderful pumpkin bread out of that puree. You guys got to see me eat it live here in the live show. You know, after the comments last week, I was thinking I probably should have something to eat in this show. But I don't have anything. Sorry. You'll have to see me consume stuff in another show. All right, and we also did the video of the pumpkin seed powder, using the pumpkin seed powder as a way to give you lots of vitamins and minerals and fiber, and then also as a natural dewormer, because it has a natural chemical in it that sort of forces the parasites in your gut to let go, and so they can be washed out. So that's a very useful thing. Keeping it's an annual thing, so when you get your pumpkin seeds and you dry them out and you grind them up and you put them in your food, that's like an annual cleansing for your livestock and yourself. We've used it quite a bit for, we've given even the horses, probably not enough to make much difference, but they get a little bit of the dried seeds as a snack. The dogs get it quite a bit, and sometimes the chickens and goats, and also in our food. All right. Scrolling. Awkward moment. All right. Can you get that from eating the pumpkin flesh? Is that the... I think you're referring probably to the natural deworming, and I think that's only in the seeds. I don't think it's in the flesh at all. I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it is in the seeds only. So, and then also RZ Mask, the company, has been a bigger part of my story lately, and there's a link right there in the chat. RZ Mask, the person that I'm communicating with, is a great guy, and they have a great product as well. If you at all work in a dusty environment, or like lately I've been wearing it outside because of the cedar pollen that is in the air. It's miserable, and the mask has helped me be able to go out and do my chores and not breathe in all of that cedar pollen. So that link there, and you can use that link to shop RZ Mask, but also use the coupon code Daddykirbs that will allow you to get 15% off. That's a pretty good discount for a pretty good product. And then the last video last week was that the predator took our duck out of the coop, and I had to repair that coop. So that was a nice way to utilize some of that material that came out of that old barn, and repurposing over there for making that coop more secure. So I do have videos coming up in 2019. I don't want to talk a lot about what's coming up, but the chicken coop video hopefully will be in the first month or two, because that is something that we really want to get done. And that will be using a lot of resources from that barn that was taken down as well. All right. So I made it all the way. We are 48 minutes in, and I made it all the way through the year. I just thought it would be really fun to reflect with you guys over 2018, sharing the highs and the lows. As a YouTube creator, it was a challenge because there were a lot of moments this year that made it very difficult for us to keep going, but we did, and I'm glad that we did, because it's been a real pleasure building this community with you guys through the live shows, through the family group. If you are not in the family group on Facebook, there is a link. Sometimes it's in the chat, but there is also a link in the description below the video where you can check out the family group. That's just a place where we can share our stories and build relationships, and you know, just become like a family. The purpose of the name Fanily, F-A-N-I-L-Y, is that we are all gathered together as not biological family members, but centered around a set of skills and tasks and content, which is the Daddykirbs farm. And so we are fans of that, and we're all together like family. So we are the Fanily. I appreciate everyone who has participated there, and I love seeing the conversation over there. I don't often get in and do a lot of interaction, but I do check it out frequently to see who's there and see what's going on. So thanks for being a part of that. All right, so that's kind of the end of my notes. I'm going to look at the chat here and see what's going on. But I do appreciate you guys being here. Tim, I see you say you've been doing awesome. How you stay motivated is something to be proud of. Thank you very much. It is a challenge. I don't ever want to make it sound like it's so hard, because it's not so hard, because anything that we are passionate about and that we want to do, we make time for and we get it done. And so that's why I keep going, because the Daddykirbs farm story is something that helps me as a person. It's not just me putting content out, hopefully to get a paycheck, although I do hope to get a paycheck. Sorry, I'm human. But really the point is that I want to share my story, because there's been a lot of people who have come back to me and say, hey, your story has helped me. I've been able to be encouraged or to learn something, or some of the real touching stories are you're like the dad or the grandfather I never had. I'm not sure I like the grandfather comment, but you are a special person in my life that helps me get through things in life, and that means a lot. What's going on here? Big break for us, gearing up for 2019. That's Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Doug has been, you guys have been really, really producing an amazing channel for a lot of people. The content, the education. I appreciate your example in how you produce your channel and the types of things that you talk about. So thank you for being a mentor and someone to follow in the YouTube sphere. How many subscribers? I don't even know. I haven't looked lately. I got a little discouraged looking at subscribers. Let me just be honest with you for a minute. The number's going up like crazy. I can't be discouraged about the number. But it's unfortunate, at least from my perspective, most of those subscribers that are now, the numbers looking really good, is because of two videos. The honey harvesting video and the hawk rescue video. It seems, though, that a lot of people who are subscribing from those videos, they're not sticking around. They're not watching the other videos. So, there's a bit of a discrepancy between the number of subscribers I have and the number of views that I get on videos. Really, it's you guys, the core group of people, that's given me any views at all. I'm not upset about that. I'm just expressing something that I see as a reality in my channel, is that even though that the subscriber number is going way up, my views aren't. But that's okay. We'll get through it. Did I get 1,000 views on the duck video? I think I didn't, Trish. Like I expressed last week, that my goal was to get at least 1,000 views in the first 48 hours on any video. And that's not something I have accomplished on most of my recent videos. The numbers, this is one of the things, if you want to talk about being a YouTube creator, there are certain times when things are up and certain times when things are down. And we're back. Earlier this year, I could put out a video and I would get, I think it was this year, 2018, but there was a season when I could put out a video and get 2,000 to 3,000 views. And I thought that was going to be the trend from that day forward, from that time forward, and it didn't happen. Things changed with YouTube, things changed with the audience, maybe even things changed with me. I have to take responsibility for that too. And yeah, Doug's talking about you would think that subs would show up on the videos. Crazy for us is like 20% subs watch videos. 20% is actually really good. I think a lot of people use 10%, at least from what I've heard, 10% of their subscribership in the number of views that they can expect on any given video. Like for me right now, I think I have 73,000 subscribers. You would expect, or at least by that measure, that I could get 7,000 views on any video, but I'm not, in some cases, even getting 700. So, but I'm not saying any of this to complain. I love sharing my story, and I'm going to keep sharing my story. And with more, as I research and I listen to mentors like Doug, and I go on and I research like video creators with Tim Schmoyer and different things online, that gives me more to think about and how to turn this into something that's going to be a bigger audience to share the story with more people. You know, you have to think like a business, and that's not something I've been really good at over the years, simply because I haven't had time, and I'm not really a business-minded person, but I'm learning. I've been listening to some ebooks, audiobooks, and doing some research and trying to figure some of that stuff out. So I'm really glad that you guys are here for the journey, and as I learn more of that, hopefully we can bring more people into this and have a bigger party every week in the live show. Let's see. What is that? Oh, a French fry for breakfast. Nice. 10% as a rule for watches per video, then out of those number, 13 to 20% of those are subs. Oh, okay. I got it. So I did get to consume something on video. One bite of a French fry. All right, we have hit almost the hour mark. Quit taking Luke's French fries. It was offered to me. Consuming stuff with Daddykirbs. You know, you guys are an amazing group of people, and I truly love spending every week. I look forward every week to be here with you on Saturday mornings, and I just hope that we get to keep doing it and make it better and better and better as I produce more content and get more better equipment for the live show. I am definitely making that an aim for this year, because I don't want to keep producing the show on my phone, even though it's been a great tool to get started. I'd like to do better for you. So that's it for today. Thank you for being a part of my story. I'll talk to you soon.